FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
One of the big stories that is now beginning to bubble up in political discussion is our relationships now, our deteriorating relationship with Pakistan. And then here we've had an Iranian nuclear facility, and I said I know it's nuclear. I say nuclear because I'm from southern Missouri, and that's how we do. And then also there was the British embassy, which was stormed.
What, you mean the English?
Yeah, right.
embassy?
Obama said it was the English embassy.
You're just probably wrong.
I know. I forgot what third department I wanted to cut to, because that's infinity times worse than confusing Great Britain and England and not understanding the difference between the two. The British embassy, students stormed that in Tehran. And this all comes on the heels of this national security debate that we had last week, at which I was present for CNN. And all of the candidates were discussing how best to pay off Pakistan so that they continue to like us. Joining me on the phone right now is a good friend of the show, our foreign policy expert with the DCI advisory, Stephen Yates. Stephen, good afternoon.
Hi, Dana. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. This story with Pakistan, I read this on Sunday. And it struck me as being a very odd story. Essentially, there was a raid on a military encampment, and now U.S. forces are perhaps believing that maybe the Taliban has possibly set this up in order to put a wedge between the United States and Pakistan. Now we have rioting against the United States. What are your thoughts on this story? Because it seems as though it's just there's so many things that seem weird in this.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, the upshot is there are too many things that are very weird in the way the story is being presented now. First, when we're dealing with Pakistan and we're dealing with war stories from the ground, I would put a very high discount factor that we're getting the truth and nothing but the truth, especially from representatives of the country that harbored Osama bin Laden for many years.
Right.
So I think I would first and foremost go very heavy in trusting what our commanders say happened. And all of the ground-based interviews that the media and others are doing, that is nice color commentary, but I don't necessarily believe it's the whole truth. By all accounts, it seems most likely that the Pakistanis started this, and that it escalated beyond their control, that a response order was given, and that unfortunately, as has often been the case, when incompetents start a fight, innocent people get hurt. So when it comes to the situation in Pakistan, essentially, I agree very much with what Newt Gingrich had to say in that very debate when he said, tell the Pakistanis, help us or get out of the way, but don't complain if we kill people you're not willing to go after in your own territory where you have been protecting them.
Yes.
And this is what happens.
And that was a really well put how he said that, because some of the other candidates, and I don't agree with any particular candidate on every single one of the issues, but some of the candidates came out and said, oh, well, we just need to continue to pay Pakistan aid, and that's going to make everything okay, and they're going to want to work with us. But as you just mentioned, this was the country and they harbored. You can't tell me that they didn't know that this guy was in Abbottabad for as long as he was in one of the biggest houses in the area, and it seems as though they want the relationship between themselves and the United States to come undone. But I don't think that paying them off in the way that was mentioned in the debates is the answer to go about this at all.
Right. Well, in fairness, since the line was used in the debate, I think the idea that paying them aid buys them off is naive. I think that there's no amount of money that is going to make these people make a strategic decision. They live in a dangerous part of the world. They have a lot of treacherous and lethal people around them. And to date, they have calculated that America is withdrawing. America is not shaping events, and they're going to deal with the facts on the ground as they find them. And that doesn't include telling the truth to the United States, and it doesn't include going along with what our national interests are in rooting out the terrorist networks that can destabilize situations well beyond their borders.
Now, I know that Pakistan has in the past, they have made similar threat, because now they're saying they're going to shut down the NATO supply lines, and I know that they've made kind of similar threats in the past, but are they going to actually follow through on this time? Has this been the proverbial final straw?
Well, I think that I don't know that they have the capability to follow through on what they threaten. But assuming that they do, that would make them the enemy. Either when we are at war and we are relying upon allies, they are, on paper, an ally of the United States. I've often in the past referred to them as the most dangerous ally America has in the world. I don't think they necessarily even earn the ally title at this point. But if they are going to go beyond bleeding us by not controlling forces within their territory and encroaching upon the dangerous situation of the border areas in Afghanistan, and go all the way to cutting off supply lines, I think that makes you an enemy.
Yes. I want to ask you really quickly about this nuclear facility explosion that is in Iran, the possibility that their facilities are under attack. And then the most obvious question would then be by whom?
Well, I think there are a couple of things going on in the Iran situation. First and foremost, there's this public fervor that is, I think, fairly clearly being driven by regime elements. And this is a form of political warfare that is being deployed by our enemies against the West. Great Britain has borne the brunt of the situation with its embassy. When it comes to the nuclear facilities, we have to sort of segregate what are the places that are weapons-related that could go boom and have terrible things happen well beyond a 3 Mile Island kind of situation, and what would be energy facilities where there could be some compromise if something tremendous were to happen. There's no indication that I'm aware of that these groups are anything more than a public relations effort. But if they were to structurally compromise a nuclear facility and it's an energy facility, the people in greatest danger would be themselves,
right,
frankly.
Right. Well, very true. One last quick question, and this is more of a domestic front. And I know we had Mr. Gingrich on the program yesterday to broach this topic with him. This Fast and Furious issue. We played audio coming into this segment of Eric Holder wagging his finger in the face of a reporter with the Daily Caller, essentially blaming the media for creating the Fast and Furious scandal. And he still is in office. What is your make of that? What do you make of that?
Well, there are so many different reasons why I think Eric Holder has been the least effective and perhaps most dangerous attorney general in recent American history. He initiated a whole series of politically motivated regulations to treat terrorists as if they were jaywalkers. And I think that has made America less safe. We may have the most active drone killing program,
right,
but we have less intelligence and we have more attacks. And we are not leading abroad.
And he has to go. I hate to interrupt you, but we're up against a hard break. Stephen Yates with the DC International Advisory, always appreciative of your perspective.
Thanks very much.
Thanks
Dana.
so much.